LeBron James is one of the greatest athletes of all time. People are still arguing over whether or not James is the GOAT in the basketball world, but everybody agrees that he is at least very close to the top of the list. Being such a special athlete has earned James a stupid amount of money, but funny enough, it also costs him a ton of money. In order for LeBron to stay LeBron, he has to spend about $1.5 million a year on his own body. The news first came out in 2018, and it amazed most of the sports world and even some of James' fellow players. The man is worth hundreds of millions, maybe even $1 billion soon, so nobody was surprised that the king could afford it. But what in the damn hell could he possibly be spending all that cash on? In this video, we're going to take a look at LeBron's crazy budget and try to wrap our heads around where all that money is going and why. And hold on to your seat, because I guarantee some of it is going to be hard for you to believe. Personal trainer. The first thing most people would think to spend money on if they're trying to be in good shape would be a personal trainer. And you better believe LeBron thinks the same way. For almost his entire career, James has worked closely with trainer Mike Mancias. But after all, James is no ordinary person, and as you might expect, Mancias is no ordinary trainer. In fact, Mancias' job isn't even called personal trainer. Instead, Mancias calls himself something that sounds straight out of an Avengers movie. He's LeBron's chief human performance advisor. The name makes it sound like Mancias is more of a mad scientist than a fitness coach, and honestly, that seems to pretty much be the case. Mancias says he's created a blueprint working with James that covers a bunch of different parts of the King's daily routine. It isn't just lifting weights and running on a treadmill. Mancias tells James what he can and cannot eat, gives him different medicines and supplements, and basically controls his schedule, telling him when to rest, when to sleep, and when to work out. Many of the expensive things James buys to keep himself in shape can be traced back to Mike Mancias because Mancias is probably the one who came up with the ideas for them in the first place. It's unknown just how much LeBron pays Mancias for his services, but it's a safe bet you and I could not afford them. Normatec leg boots. One of the many things LeBron blows tons of money on every year is the use of special leg boots to help his body recover. These are made by a company called Hyper Ice, who make a bunch of different high-tech tools for athletes to help them recover after a workout. I have to believe that LeBron's leg boots are custom made. There's no way that a normal pair would fit him, so that means this already expensive item is probably a lot more expensive for James to use. The way they work is, you slide them on and they start inflating, almost like that thing at the doctor's office when they measure your blood pressure. At a certain point, the boots somehow know when to stop inflating, and then you just sort of wear them like that for a while. This goofy outfit apparently helps to kind of massage your muscles, and for LeBron James, it's an important part of his workout routine. Basketball is a game that takes a toll on your legs, but boots aren't the only tech this company makes. You can also get sleeves for your arms and shoulders. Imagine wearing these on your arms and your legs and trying to walk around. What happens if you fall over? Could you even get up? This technology must make a huge difference to LeBron's game, because he's been willing to wear it day in and day out for years. I'm just waiting for the moment he rolls up to the arena wearing it for game day. He couldn't even do the press conference because there's no way he could sit down or even lean towards the microphone. This just goes to show once again that greatness isn't just about glory in the spotlight. But hold on, because it gets way, way crazier. Hyperbaric oxygen therapy. When James isn't wearing his inflatable boots and sleeves, you might find him climbing into a giant duffel bag and having someone from his staff zip it shut. Why? Well, you might think that doing this would make you unable to breathe, but weirdly enough, it actually does the opposite. This giant duffel bag really isn't a duffel bag at all. It's actually a hyperbaric oxygen chamber. Like the boots and sleeves, this human-sized bag inflates after James gets inside it. This raises the air pressure inside. This makes the air really thick and much more full of oxygen than any air you could find outdoors in nature. While James is lying trapped in this creepy bag, he's breathing in tons of extra oxygen, which kind of supercharges his body to recover faster. This treatment is also supposed to help with things like asthma and inflammation. Of course, James has to really trust the people putting him in this thing. If a Warriors fan somehow snuck in and pretended to be part of his training team, it could be the end of LeBron James. Or maybe he would just tear himself out 50 years later and go on a rampage eating cars and ripping buildings out of the ground. Cryotherapy. There are still more crazy things LeBron blows money on to keep himself in shape. Not only does he wrap himself in stiff boots and sleeves and climb inside giant bags, he also freezes himself very often. I'm not kidding. As part of his routine, LeBron climbs into a high-tech booth that is just big enough for one person. Normally, this booth is just the right size so your head sticks out the top, but since LeBron is 6'9", I'll bet he had to get this custom made as well. the booth somehow becomes super cold inside. And I'm not talking refrigerator cold, I'm talking 200 to 300 degrees below zero. That's so cold that it's hard to even imagine what it would be like. You'd think it would kill you. I'll bet if you stayed in the booth for too long, it probably would. But cryotherapy, as it is called by doctors, is only supposed to be done for a few minutes at a time. And what happens when you do it? Well, even though it sounds strange, it actually numbs pain. If LeBron is coming off an injury or he's sore, he just steps into the booth and freezes his nuts off for a few minutes. Then he steps back into normal air, feeling good as new. I'm not even sure I would ever try this, to be honest, but a lot of pro athletes seem to be really into it. It's also used to help lose weight, avoid cancer, help with skin problems, and even treat headaches. How all that works, I have no idea, but the amount of money people like LeBron are spending on it makes me think there's gotta be something to it. Gyms. Most people who hire a personal trainer will work with them at a local gym.
No pain, no gain?
If you thought LeBron would do the same thing, you're wrong. The man is way too rich to be doing his workouts around other people. Instead, LeBron owns a few different mansions around the country, and each one of them has a private gym full of the very best equipment money can buy. You have to remember, for LeBron, having a world-class gym in his house isn't just a luxury. He thinks of it as an important part of his career. It allows him to train as much as possible and do the best job that he can. It isn't really known just how much LeBron has spent on his private gyms or how much he continues to spend each year, but I can tell you, it's a lot. Most of the homes he has owned have been remodeled so they can include things like basketball courts and weight rooms, which isn't cheap to do. It's also not cheap to maintain a gym and fill it with the latest expensive gear. LeBron has every kind of machine you could think of. He has tons of weights, ropes, exercise balls, medicine balls, cardio machines, and who knows what else. One of his private gyms probably has more stuff in it than the gym most people pay every month to share with everyone else. But when you're the king, you can write all that stuff off on your taxes. Diet. Health nuts say nothing is more important when you're trying to stay in shape than what you eat. LeBron seems to agree. His diet is probably one of the most expensive in the world. He has an entire team of chefs who work along with his trainers. They create custom, tasty meals 3 times a day for James and his family. Having an in-house chef, or 7, is not that unusual for people with hundreds of millions of dollars to spend. But what makes LeBron different is that his chefs are cooking based on what his training staff says he should be eating. Basically, here's how it works. The training staff studies LeBron and his workouts. From this, they get a ton of info about how his body works, what his needs are, and when he is and isn't at his best. Then, they tell the cooking staff what nutrients LeBron needs that day, that week, that month, finding the right balance of things like protein, fiber, carbs, stuff like that. The cooking staff then looks at these needs and they make a schedule of everything they're gonna cook for LeBron that week, that month, maybe even that year. All LeBron has to do is sit back and wait for someone to yell, "Dinner!" Then he gets to stroll into the dining room where he'll be served something both tasty and healthy. It almost sounds like living in a 5-star hotel all the time, only instead of worrying about how he's gaining weight while on vacation, James can rest easy, knowing he's being served only things that the world's top experts will say will make him as jacked as possible. Sounds pretty nice to me, except there's a problem. Some people claim LeBron's diet is nowhere near as perfect as he says. In fact, it's been rumored that his diet is straight up bad. When you look at LeBron's fitness and how well he's able to play the game, even in his mid-30s, most people just assume his diet must be perfect. How could it not be? Well, ask Tristan Thompson, LeBron's old teammate and co-champion. In an interview, Thompson told reporters about LeBron's diet and he wasn't too kind. He has the worst f***ing diet ever, he said. Ask him what he has for breakfast. He has like 5 French toasts, drowns it in syrup with strawberries and bananas, then he has like a 4-egg omelet, and then he goes and just f***ing dunks on somebody. It doesn't make sense. Thompson didn't stop there. He went on. He eats desserts with every meal. He'll come with his 1-week diet, vegan crap, but he literally eats like it doesn't make sense. He's really a specimen. He eats like shit. I remember one year, I tried to eat like he ate, and it just didn't work out. I started gaining weight and said, "F this." I mean, it works for him. He loves sweets. He eats desserts and French toast. It's crazy how his body just burns it. LeBron is also known for posting on social media about Taco Tuesdays at his house.
You know what it is! It's Taco Tuesday!
Another old teammate, Kyle Korver, has also talked about how LeBron's fitness is hard to understand. Korver says he has always been the best at cardio on whatever team he's played for, but one time He got in a little competition with LeBron at practice to see who could last longer on a machine called the VersaClimber. The VersaClimber, in case you don't know, is basically just a machine that you hold onto with both hands and stand on with both feet, and you pump your arms and legs up and down like you're climbing. If you've ever used it, you know it's hard work. Pro athletes can wear themselves out on that thing. And that's exactly what Kyle Korver did when he tried to keep up with LeBron. Everyone else on the team had already given up. Korver says he started to feel dizzy and sick, and he eventually had to get off the machine. He says he collapsed onto a bench nearby and could barely move, he was so tired. As Korver was gasping for air, he looked up to see LeBron hop off the VersaClimber, pick up a basketball, and sprint onto the court. LeBron ran all the way to the hoop, jumped up, and did a perfect windmill dunk. This was at a time when he was at least in his early 30s. Did LeBron eat French toast and dessert that morning too? Of course, Korver and the rest of the team were super impressed. Korver said afterwards, "That is the most amazing thing I've ever seen anyone do. It was unbelievable. I was like, this guy is from a different world." No matter what you say about him, LeBron is in killer shape. He must be doing something right. Whether the rumors about his diet are true or not, he spends a ton of money and time trying to take care of his body, and he shows no signs of stopping soon. He's a rare combo of being a very fit and very athletic person to begin with, and being stupidly rich. It's no surprise that what you get is one of the most expensive and crazy fitness routines the world has ever seen. If you like this video, be sure to check out our other videos like NBA players caught cheating on their wives, NBA players caught flirting with fans on live TV, and most expensive mansions of NBA stars. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the notification bell so you don't miss any great content like this. Catch you in the next video.